Independence Day celebrated with supercars. Inside Tata's Sanand plant, and the Kia Carnival. Could it be good for India? Welcome everyone to a brand new episode of CNB. It's Independence Week and we always get excited about that. Perhaps from a different context, not necessarily the one that the rest of the country does. It's not just about a vacation or a long weekend. It's about celebrating what that freedom means to you. Alright, I'm Siddharth Vinayak Patankar. Welcome like I said, and we'll get straight into it then. A little bit of that independence celebration, our style, that's coming up a little later as you saw. But we'll first take you across to that Tata plant in Sanand. We've been wanting to take you there for a while. Finally, we have an entry to show you all of this.
Tata Motors is on a roll. After closing the 2017-18 financial year with a 35% growth in sales, the current fiscal is also proving to be a big success for the company. And it owes that success to models like the Tiago, Tigor, and yes, the Nexon.
We started a big program in Tata Motors, we call it turnaround. Idea was to turn around the business immediately, quickly. And in that has three pillars. One is sales enhancement, means rapid increase in sales in a short time. Second is cost reduction, so unprecedented cost reduction in a very short time. And third is increasing operating leverage, operating efficiencies. So let me talk about the first important thing, which is sales enhancement. For last 30 months, we have been outperforming the market. Our growth is better than the industry. For example, in quarter one, while the industry has grown by 19.8, our company has grown by 52%. A big part of this, big success of this goes to this historic, iconic plant at Sanand, which accounts about 60% plus of our sales. And as you can see, all the products that come out from here have been doing extremely well.
8 years since production first began here, the plant is a big part of the company's strategy to acquire lost ground. Spread across 1,100 acres, the plant houses a press line, weld shop, paint shop, powertrain shop, and the assembly line. There's only one assembly line here, on which the company builds the Nano, Tiago and the Tigor. And this is for both domestic and export markets. Total output over the 8 years stands at 450,000 cars at the plant, and there's another milestone just around the corner.
Two stories actually playing simultaneously. One is increasing demand from the market, and also ability of plant to ramp up quickly to meet the demand. And both are working in sync, almost like an orchestra, to deliver the value for our customer. So yes, 500,000 is a big achievement for us, and every one of us is looking forward to that.
The plant's installed capacity is 150,000 cars annually, and this will soon be ramped up to 200,000 units a year by 2019. Increasing automation is one key way to build more cars in the same facility, and there are 190 robots which help increase productivity. Now behind me is where they assemble all the bits in the doors. That means power windows, central locking systems, speakers for some. Yes, 21 variants have been put together here. So yes, it all depends on the amount of features each car has. Now how do these guys come to know which car or which door has to be fitted with what? Now if you can see, there is a sheet of paper right in the middle there which tells them which variant it is, and according to that they keep fitting it. This is of course true of a number of plants worldwide, as most manufacturers adopt best practices to increase productivity. The cars move to the assembly line as they get their door panels floorboard, engine, suspension parts and interior packaging before reaching the final quality checks.
Yes, it's a bit noisy because we are standing in a plant, and behind me is what you call the mechanical line. Now this might look like the final stages of the cars rolling out, and from here probably just go to the depot, but no, to my left here is where more action happens, because that is where the cars are checked thoroughly to make it better, and if there are any faults in it, just to make sure that everything is in place. Well, there are lots of stages here, but if it is red flagged here, the cars get out into this part of the bay, which is where probably the vendors or probably people from Tata Motors come and check the problems.
While the Tigor and Tiago have been the driving force for the company's sales growth, there's one car that will always be associated with Tata Motors, and especially this plant.
Well, any trip to the Sanand plant is never complete before we talk about the Nano. And this one is a very special one at that, because yes, it's topless, and someone like Cyrus is very enthusiastic to buy a convertible version of the car. So yeah, something like this for him for sure.
The success of the Nexon has only spurred Tata into accelerating its upcoming models. While the Harrier compact SUV will be made in Pune and not in Sanand, there will be still more models coming out of Sanand in the near future.
We always like taking you inside car plants or bike plants, so I hope you enjoyed that. Now it's time to get back to that brand that we regularly keep revisiting here on the show, because we're trying to get you introduced to it. I'm talking about Kia, which is of course Korean, and there's lots of different cars being considered for India before Kia's actual market debut happens in the middle of next year. So we've showed you the Rio, we've showed you the Stinger, we've been trying to give you a little hint of what might be coming through all of that, and now it's time for us to show you yet another car, this one being seriously considered as a Toyota Innova rival. This is the Kia Carnival. The multi-purpose vehicle or MPV minivan segment has had one overwhelming favorite for over a decade, the Toyota Innova. The 7 or 8-seater configurations have made it the ideal choice for family buyers and the fleet market too. And what's more, the second generation Innova Krista has been a superb success as well. But now Kia is considering its Carnival for India to take on the segment leader in 2019. Kia is working on a study to see if it should follow its compact SUV launch with the Carnival. It's a full-size MPV and it's also sold as the Sedona in some markets. The car is in its third generation now, and it's available with a front-wheel drive 3.3-litre petrol V6 in the US. That engine has a 6-speed automatic transmission. In Korea, it also gets a 2.2-litre diesel option that's got 197 bhp and 440 Nm with an 8-speed auto gearbox. And that's the car we're focusing on today, because that is what would be more relevant to India. The car is just over 380mm longer, 154mm wider, and has a 311mm longer wheelbase than the Innova Krista. It is 55mm shorter in height though, and even with larger 17 or 18-inch wheels and an optional roof rail, the Carnival still stays 40mm shorter. The face is modern with a customary Kia Tiger Nose grille and LED lights for a nice high-end feel. Overall, that is how the Carnival comes across, in fact, sophisticated and very urban. It's a stylish MPV alright, and will stand up to the Innova Krista on looks. The car gets sliding side rear doors which make ingress and egress a breeze. The sense of space inside the cabin is pretty great. Our test car was in a 7-seater configuration with 2 individual seats in the second row. The third row gets front-facing seats that are reasonably comfortable when compared to other cars, since the Carnival is quite wide. The front seats are heated and ventilated and fairly comfortable for long drives. There are AC vents for rear passengers, very neatly mounted into the roof. The dash layout is smart and functional. It's dominated by the central console with its 8-inch touchscreen and it can get navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, voice commands, steering mounted controls, a decent sound system, keyless entry and start, and many other highlights. There's plenty of storage, and with the third row in play you get 960 liters of boot space. Fold those seats though and it's a massive 2220 liters. Now I like the gearbox. I like the fact that it has an auto hold function, that it's an 8-speed, and I think that would be a big of a USP to play up, because that's something that the Innova doesn't have. But there is a considerable amount of body roll, so I think the thing that really would work for this car in its favor is just a massive amount of space that you get on board, and the convenience, the comfort, and some of the features. The engine is smooth and gets going quickly enough. While the Carnival is by no means sluggish, you are very aware of the bulk, like I said. But it's true of the Innova and most large MPVs. Handling is good for a car this size, but for that body roll. The car is also very composed at higher speeds with no perceptible shudders or vibrations, even when the needle goes past the 3-digit mark. The Carnival's trump card, of course, is comfort and that ride quality, which is rather good. The car with me also had cruise control, collision warning, autonomous emergency braking, ABS with cornering brake control and EBD, traction control and rollover mitigation, and front and side airbags. Now if it were to come to India, of course the Carnival would go dead against the Toyota Innova Krista, and to match that car you need to not just bring in certain kind of quality levels that people know Toyota for, but also bring in a certain amount of value consciousness, because the Krista has now become quite steep, quite pricey, but it still is a bestseller, and that's what Kia would need to watch out for. The big question that remains is whether or not Kia will actually bring the Carnival to us. Well, the sense we're getting is that the company is getting serious about introducing it. Kia is likely to only look at reasonably well-loaded variants, and so I'm not expecting any cutthroat positioning. So if it does come, prices would have to stay between 18 and 22 lakh rupees for Kia to really give any kind of challenge to the market bestseller.